Good evening, you're watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. The Ministry of Health recommends educational establishments not to suspend classes before referring to it and recommends suspending all activities and international conferences in the Sultanate to confront the spread of COVID-19. More than 3,500 people in 94 countries die of coronavirus. And Turkey affirms sticking to ceasefire agreements in Idlib and says it would use its right to self-defense if there is any attack targeting its forces in the region. Those are the headlines, and now for the news in detail. The Ministry of Health, in a statement, recommended all educational establishments not to suspend classes without referring to it or coordinating with the Ministry of Education or the Ministry of Higher Education. The Ministry of Health affirmed that suspending classes in any educational establishment depends on the epidemiological situation of the disease and risk assessment of the confirmed cases. It as well added that it monitors people under quarantine, whether at home or in hospital. It is worth mentioning that the technical committee concerned with following COVID-19 recommended to suspend all the activities such as gathering and international conferences in the Sultanate until further notice. The committee will continue assessing the situation and developments in both global and local levels. Due to the growing concern of travel because of COVID-19, the national carrier of the Sultanate launched a new booking service to fulfill the guests' needs. According to the service, those who booked earlier can change their booking starting from the 6th of March until the 31st of May without paying any cancellation fee for the booking. The service covers all classes of tickets and destinations as the duration of travel not to exceed beyond the 21st of October. Iran's health ministry said today that 21 more people have died from the new coronavirus, bringing the country's death toll to 145. More than 1,000 infections were also confirmed overnight, totaling some 5,823 cases nationwide. Across the world, there have been more than 102,000 cases recorded in 94 countries and territories, with 3,515 deaths. The main countries affected are mainland China, with 80,651 cases and 3,070 deaths. South Korea recorded 44 deaths, Italy 197 deaths, and France 9 deaths. Colombia, Costa Rica and Malta have announced their first cases. Russia has closed its borders to foreign travelers from Iran. The European Central Bank asked its 3,700 employees based in Frankfurt to carry out a day of telework on Monday to test its emergency plan in the event of confinement. Facebook has closed its offices in London and part of its premises in Singapore after an employee tested positive. The UN asked 9 countries, including China, South Korea and France, to delay their rotation of peacekeepers around the world by 3 months. Dollar banknotes on their way back to the United States after being used in Asia are subject to quarantine for a minimum period of 7 to 10 days instead of 5 previously, and up to 60 days. With concern growing over stockpiling, a video on the internet shows 3 women in Sydney's store pulling each other's hair, shouting and fighting for a large package of toilet paper.
But if you are an individual with a serious underlying health...
The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia announced that only commercial trucks are allowed to enter the country through the border posts with the UAE, Kuwait and Bahrain. The Kingdom stated that this comes within precautionary measures against COVID-19 and will be for a temporary period. Meanwhile, Kuwait's cabinet decided to suspend all flights to and from Egypt, Syria, Lebanon, Philippines, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh and India due to the spread of coronavirus. The cabinet stated that Kuwaitis coming from any of these countries will be put under quarantine. Turkish Defense Minister Hulusi Akar said today that there has been no violations of the ceasefire in Syria's Idlib as part of an agreement with Russia, while Russia said there have been a few shootings in the region. The ceasefire has reached in Moscow on Thursday after talks to contain an escalating conflict. Nearly 1 million people have been displaced in a 3-month offensive by Syrian government forces in northwest Syria. Ankara supports rebel fighters, although it has less over militants who control large parts of Idlib. Russia said there have been 3 cases of shootings in Idlib in the past 24 hours. It also said there were 7 cases of shooting in Latakia and 9 in Aleppo. The Defense Ministry also reported that 860 refugees have returned to Syria from Jordan and Lebanon over the past day. Ankara said Turkey would use its right to self-defense if there is any attack targeting its forces or bases in the region. The deal called for joint patrols of Turkish and Russian forces around the M4 road in the Idlib region starting on March 15th. Ankara said Turkey has stated to work on the procedures and principles of the safety corridor around the road, adding that a Russian military delegation will visit Ankara next week for discussions. UN Special Envoy Martin Griffiths today called for an immediate end to military action by Yemen's warring parties as renewed violence between the Houthi movement and a Saudi-led coalition threatened the peace effort. Fierce battles have resumed in Al Jawaf province since last month and accumulated with the Houthi group taking control of its capital, Al-Hazim, last week, as the coalition resumed airstrikes against the region's towns and villages. The International Committee of the Red Cross said the fighting in North Yemen has displaced around 70,000 people to neighbouring Marib province. The recent escalation has shattered more than 3 months of calm in the 5-year-old conflict. This has raised peace prospects after Saudi Arabia significantly reduced its airstrikes on Yemen and the Houthis halted missile and drone attacks on the kingdom. Still to come in our news bulletin. Archaeological artifacts dating back thousands of years are displayed at Beit al-Kabib Castle exhibition in the Wilaya of Mudhaybi.
وإننا ماضون بعون الله على طريق البناء والتنمية نواصل مسيرة النهضة المباركة كما أراد لها السلطان الراحل رحمه الله مستشعرين حجم الأمانة وعظمتها مؤكدين على أن تظل عمان الغاية الأسمى في كل ما نقدم عليه وكل ما نسعى لتحقيقه داعين كافة أبناء الوطن دون استثناء إلى صون مكتسبات النهضة المباركة والمشاركة الفاعلة في إكمال المسيرة الظافرة متوكلين على الله عز وجل راجين عونه وتوفيقه.
Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. Al-Sharqiya University held the second edition of the Scientific Research Day with the aim of developing the system of scientific research and enhancing ways of cooperation between higher education institutions in this field. More details in the following report.
To promote scientific research and enhance cooperation between higher education institutions and the industry in this field, Al-Sharqiya University held the second edition of the Scientific Research Day.
Organized by the Office of Graduate Studies and Research at the university. The idea really is to create a space 1 day per year where faculty and students can show off their work.
More than 20 research papers were presented at the event, focusing on a wide range of themes, including ways to develop the scientific research system and highlighting the outputs of the research projects.
I was really pleased to participate in this day, which is called Research Day at the Sharqiya University. I gave a lecture about the ethics in research and publication, and I gave a brief introduction how you review a research proposal by the ethics committee and what's the standard and principles they should be followed during the publication.
To foster scientific research culture among the community, the event included an exhibition showcasing research projects conducted by the faculty members and the students of the university. Besides, there was a competition which targeted students' presentation skills. For the Sultanate of Oman television, Saleh bin Khalfan al-Rahbi.
The main index of Muscat security market kept its 4,100 points level last week. The week witnessed fluctuations in various Gulf and global markets amid concerns of increasing global economic impact as a result from the spread of coronavirus. The prices of 13 companies increased and 30 companies declined, while 14 companies kept their previous levels. The value of trading declined last week to 10,400,000 Omani riyals. The new traditional weapons shooting ground was opened in the Wilayah of Musana. The inauguration ceremony was presided over by His Excellency Sheikh Saad bin Mohammed Al Mardouf Al Saadi, Minister of Sports Affairs. It included the start of the activities of annual shooting competition for traditional weapons. Shooters from the governorates of north and south of Batna took part in the contest. The shooter Halal bin Ali Al Maghizwi won the first place, while Ghalib bin Ali Al Mamari came second, while Mamoon bin Masood Al Hadrami achieved the third place. The ceremony also included traditional arts performances and women shooting shows. The Ministry of Heritage and Culture organized, in cooperation with a German university, an archaeological exhibition in the Wilayah of Mutaibi in the governorate of North Sharqiya. It was held at Beit al-Kabib Castle in Niyaba of Samad al-San. It showcased some archaeological artifacts from the Wilayah of Mutaibi that reflect the deep-rooted history of this Wilayah. These items dated back to thousands of years for copper smelting, including other archaeological discoveries from different areas and villages of the Wilayah. This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. The Ministry of Health recommends educational establishments not to suspend classes before referring to it, and recommends suspending all activities and international conferences in the Sultanate to confront the spread of COVID-19. More than 3,500 people in 94 countries die of coronavirus. And Turkey affirms sticking to ceasefire agreement in Idlib and says it would use its right to self-defense if there is any attack targeting its forces in the region. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studio, it's good night.
كل في الدنيا يختار يكون شين ولا زين.
بلوة الموت ما تنقاس ببلوة الأرض. لزوم أعرف من هو اللي خطف بنت أخوي.
أنت يا العذوب داخل القلب. أنا لأجلك أرض الموت ومهاب.
السالفة ما هي سالفة أهواه، لكني خايفة على الديرة وعلى أهلي.
هذا مصيبة ما أنا قادر أساعدها، وأحس روحي مقيدة بألف قيد وقيد.
هلي؟ من هم هلي؟ ما بقالي أحد. بديت القلوب عظام تنجبر، جرح القلب بيطيب.
إيمان؟
حسين،
عنتنك. السلام عليكم.
صباح الخير أستاذ حسين، لو سمحت الأستاذ محمود يريدك في مكتبه.
يريدني الحين؟
لا مو الحين، قبل انتهاء الدوام بنصف ساعة.
إن شاء الله. مع السلامة.
حسين، خلنا نلتقي اليوم.
إيمان أنا
أرجوك.
صدقيني يا هنا، محمود أبدا مو مقصر في إيمان، يعاملها مثل بنته ومحطها بالشركة معاه ويحن عليها ويحبها كثير.
أصلا يا سامية يا أختي، أنا مستغربة أنتي ليش متحملتينها وعلى أي أساس تحمليها؟
أنا أصلا ما أطيقها ولا أتحملها، لكن ما شاء الله على محمود كلمة أكلمة يقول لي لا تتكلمين، اسكتي، مالت شغل، هذه بنتي. ما أقدر أقول شيء.
صباح الورد.
هلا، صباح النور. شو اخبارك؟ تفضلي، حياك. وينك انت اختفيتي؟
تعرفي اني مشغولة بتحضيرات العرس. انتي شو اخبارك؟
انا الحمد لله بخير، اموري كلها تمام. انت شو اخبارك مع مدرك؟ طمنيني.
من يوم سافر مدرك بالخارج وانا مشتاقة له.
مدرك مسافر؟